can't really see. Okay. We live.
We live.
So I guess we'll wait just a bit. Wait for people to join. Hey y'all.
Hey.
Our view is good, Sherry?
Yes.
Okay, yay.
Can y'all see us? Well, y'all can see us. I can see us. Y'all see us. We
I have my notes
We
today.
got folks on the lives. You do.
I'm ready.
I don't even know what questions you about to ask.
Well, it's not questions. We just gonna have some
Okay,
talking
okay.
points.
I
We
was
gonna
like-
talk, girl. We talking.
Okay,
We
'cause I
talking
was
this thing
like-
out.
That's excited.
So today we're gonna talk about magnetizing your life.
Yes.
Making making yourself a
Let me
magnet.
take the thing on my lot.
Okay, Asia's I was on there.
Yeah, I put
Hey,
I
y'all.
put live with.
Oh no, that's right. That's good. We good.
good.
Yeah, because we
Let
can only be
me
in one.
live.
Oh no, we don't have you on page yet.
Oh, hey.
Live. Oh, it did. It just went up. I just saw yours.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's on there.
You must have just posted or something. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to type. Live. Hey.
Okay, y'all. We're gonna get started in a minute.
With
Giving people time to
Honey
join
Dip Yoni
in,
Spa.
pin in our comments.
hopefully y'all have a little drinky drink, you know. It's needed today of all days. Okay.
Can we hear the radio? I think that's loud enough.
Cool. I have to tell you that because one time I was like trying to listen to you and the music was loud.
Oh, really?
But I didn't want to like stop you from talking. I was
Oh.
like, I cannot multitask right
Okay,
now.
got it.
No, so
Okay.
that's perfect. Okay, pin, comment. Hey y'all, we're about to get started.
Okay.
Live with Honey Dip Yoni
Hey,
Spa.
Renee.
It is Honey Dip Yoni
Who else
Spa.
is-
I think I forgot to put the spa on there. Okay, let me do it again. No, it popped up. I feel like I'm moving slow today. With Honey
We're gonna
Dip.
get started in a minute.
Yes. It's Honey Dip Yoni Spa on Instagram. Okay.
Yeah.
I put Honey Dip Yoni for some reason. Okay. I should know these things. The drummer roll up the partition, please. This on my playlist?
No.
I was about to say, I love Beyonce,
Asia
but,
had, created for us the first time, I think.
Okay, make sure you can still see it again.
Okay, we good?
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Okay.
So,
I'm going to turn this way.
I have notes today, y'all. Like, we ready. We ready to do this thing. We finna go into 2021.
We are 60 days out, like a little less than 60 days.
That's crazy.
Sagittarius season is upon us. Best time of the year. You're welcome in advance.
Look at
That's all I have to say.
Asia.
That's all I have to say. Two Sagittarius in the room. Gang, gang, gang.
Gang. We got
Gang,
that
gang.
Leo.
I'm for it.
We're
I'm still
supposed to
fire sign.
Yeah,
I got it. Okay, so yeah.
I guess we should introduce ourselves.
We should.
I know.
You go
I
first.
feel like we've been doing this a lot, so.
Well,
I'm
we need
expecting
to
them
do
know.
it every time.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey y'all, hey new people, hey loyal people. I am Sheridan, owner of Untamed Lingerie.
Hey.
And the lovely
Anisha, and I am the curator of Honey Dip Yoni Spa.
Yes.
Come get your Yoni.
Come get your Yoni
in your
steamed.
lingerie. Boom.
Oh, that sounds like a perfect combination.
We need to have a party.
We've been trying to have a party a long time. We've been trying to have a party forever. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. We just waiting for COVID
That's
to
really
end.
it.
And it's popping. It's
That's
on
really
and popping.
But we are doing the aerial yoga. That's a little.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Aerial yoga on November 22nd in
Okay.
Houston. It'll be with Amber J Yoga, and there'll be some lingerie. It's WAP edition.
Uh-oh.
You know what that means. So it'll be some lingerie. We'll have some
Yoni wash and some panty cakes.
Some yoni
All of
wash.
our honey dips know what panty cakes is. They love panty cakes.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely get some panty cake today.
Yeah. Panty cakes.
Yeah.
Everything. Okay.
So today.
Well, how's your week been first?
Oh, okay, that's good. It's going by fast. I can't believe it's Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Well, yeah.
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yeah,
I guess
sure.
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're right.
True, you're right. Okay.
But I was just like, man, it's already Wednesday. Well, it's already Tuesday. It's been good. It's been productive. I've been like, I'm trying to not let the beginning of my week overwhelm me. Because I'm one of those people like where I want to do everything on Monday, and I'm like, you have all week. Why are you doing this here? So
Got it.
So it's been really helpful trying to just pace myself during the week. So
Well, that's good.
how's your week going?
It's going. It was really interesting. We ended
And you're
Mercury.
laughing like
We ended Mercury retrograde yesterday. Yes, God, we made it. We survived. Everyone, it's over.
Yes.
Okay.
It actually went by
Fairly quick.
Yeah, it went by quick. I
The
won't
thing
say it was
is, we're
peaceful,
still
but it went
in-
by fast.
Oh, it was not peaceful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't say that.
I love Mercury retrograde though. Like a lot of people hate it, but you know that's the time to reflect, rejuvenate.
I will say that. It
all
was,
of the re's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't start anything new during Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, all of y'all with y'all's new COVID booze and stuff.
Yeah, just let it go.
Just let it go. But that's what I've been. So this is like so off topic, but I've been thinking that because it's like on the one hand, are people getting married in relationships because you have downtime, so you're more aware of like who you like and who you love, or is it like I ain't got nothing else to do and I'm in a relationship? Not to sound, I feel like it's a mixture, so I'm not dry hating on anybody.
I don't
but,
feel like 2020 is allowing any fakeness.
Okay.
Like 2020 is not allowing. If you trying it, it's like, oh no,
Okay.
no, oh
Okay.
no.
Well, shout out to y'all.
It's like
COVID
it's not-
relationships, COVID babies.
No, that's real. Whatever is surviving 2020 is here to stay, I believe.
That's a good take.
Yeah, yeah. First of all, okay, so let's just get the elephant out the room, y'all. I can't really see today. Told y'all I was gonna say it
I
earlier.
figured she was gonna tell y'all at some point. So
So my contact wouldn't go in my eye, and I refuse to be blind. So I'm gonna be
You
blind
can
for
see.
a moment, just so I'm not blind forever.
that's a
So
word.
yeah,
That's just a word.
yeah. So yeah. Aisha, do we have anybody saying anything? Who needs some candy cake? Renee, I got you, boo.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm coming too. Coming where? Where we going?
Hey, expressions. Who else is on?
We just got some haze and
Some haze and some waves.
I need some pancakes.
Hi, Vanessa. Okay, ladies.
Okay.
So let's talk about this magnetizing your life.
Yes.
You ready?
We're talking about all the things
So what does magnetize mean to you, Sheridan?
to attract.
Oh,
So simple.
yeah.
To attract effortlessly.
Oh,
Thank you.
Listen.
You can give me my A+ star.
listen. To attract effortlessly.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is magnetism to you?
Well, to me, it's like the ultimate divine feminine vibration, right? Because when you think about the yin and the yang, yin, the divine feminine side, attracts. We magnetize. We are. A lot of people think that negative charge is like something bad.
Right.
Whereas negative is awesome because you're the one, you bring things into you, right? And a lot of times we as women, we're always trying to push and force.
Yes.
But that's not our power. That's not
That's
our
naturally
superpower.
not what we're supposed to do.
No, we're not. We're supposed to allow things to come to us.
So we're talking today about how to get back into your...
And that's everything in life.
Yeah.
Right? Like that could be the case with business. And that's why I say my
Everything.
business has been really interesting this week
Yeah.
because I have been fighting the flow. We're women, we're supposed to flow like
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Right? Girl, I've been
How do
fighting
you
that.
know you've been fighting the flow?
Shit. Oh gosh.
I don't know if she want to talk about it right now. Maybe offline.
Is there somebody at the door? Okay.
No, we always end up locking the door.
You know I can't.
I mean, it's a little bit...
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Amber. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, hey, Amber. Okay, but yeah, just not going with the flow. Okay, so I believe in a certain thing is like momentum and flow, right?
Yes.
So my friend
Abraham
just
Hicks, y'all.
yes, girl,
Get in the
listen,
get in the momentum.
Get in the momentum,
Yes, just-
and stop fighting right against the
Yes.
stream, right? You
Yes.
want to not swim.
I always
upstream.
do that backwards.
You don't want to swim upstream. You
Upstream
want to go
against the
downstream.
current.
Yes. Okay. So you want to go with the current, right? And my current right now is kind of changing or elevating,
Okay.
right? But sometimes when you have come to a certain point and you're stable, a lot of times it's scary to move forward.
So my coach always says it's your bliss tolerance. Like,
Yes.
everybody has
Oh,
a
that's
bliss.
good.
Just
Okay,
all
sorry.
y'all taking notes. This is for my coaching session, okay? But it's bliss tolerant, so it's the idea that, and I've talked about this before, it's like we almost get in self-sabotage mode.
Yes.
Because we literally have created our mind an idea of how much goodness we can have in our life.
Woo, yes.
So it's like, instead of us, it's uncomfortable. Like, it's
uncomfortable as hell. Okay,
so you're blocking the flow because you're self-sabotaging. I'm not saying you are, but you're self-sabotaging when you're like, things are going too good. Like, let me just fuck some shit up.
Well, you know what? For me, it's like things are going really good. No need to rock the boat, but no.
Okay, that makes sense.
And my spirit is like, no, honey, we rocking this boat. It's time for you to elevate.
Mine is always like it's not a rock the boat. It's just like a subconscious, like, everything's just been going really well. Let's just, let's rock the boat. Like, mine is a let's rock the boat.
Okay.
Things are going too good. Let's just not wake up early this morning, or let's skip the gym this week. And it's like, why? What was the reason?
Okay.
But I think it's like, we all have like a bliss tolerance where it's like you have to continue to like move that moving target, otherwise you get in this space of like, okay, things are too good,
stagnation.
Like, yeah.
And the thing is that when things are always, because we think that we always want to experience comfort, right? We always want to be comfortable, but like you said, we don't. We're always seeking for change and growth and evolution.
Yeah.
And if we don't cater to that, then we will start sabotaging things.
Yes.
Just to add some
just
spice in your life,
that's
right?
Like
nobody wants
just
monotony.
Some fire. I'm a little bored. Let me just start an argument. Let me just not go to work today. It's like, you were doing so good. So I think that's so funny that you said that, because I've experienced that recently, probably in the last week or so, where I've just been like, okay, I feel the resistance. It's like the subtle resistance, like, okay, things are going really well, let's shake it up. And it's like, don't do that. Just stay the course. Just stay in the stream.
Stay in the stream. Yes.
Well, it also goes back to momentum. So it's like, when we have good momentum going, don't stop it. Like, I think sometimes we're like, oh my God, things are going so good. Like, let me just things are moving too fast. Like, I've seen people experience blessings so quickly or much faster than they anticipated. And because they don't feel deserving, subconsciously don't feel deserving, or whatever it may be, and they'll just like go AWOL, and it's like, sis, everything was great. What happened? Like, what are we doing? It's just interesting. Humans are interesting.
I think that's why God allows for us to wait until we get to the vibration of what we want to attract. Like, because being in that, it's almost like an over-ready.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're just hoping for it, then you're still not mentally prepared and ready to receive it, and you will mess it up. You will not feel deserving.
Oh, yeah. I think all of us can look back on times where we're like, no, I wasn't ready then.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things that I've experienced now, and I'm like, man, it's crazy that it's taking longer to experience, but I'm like, I would have fucked this up 2 years ago.
Or
like,
even more so, just outgrown it. Like, if I had married somebody at 25, I would have outgrown him. Legit. Like, I would have outgrown him.
That is so crazy. I don't know if Keisha's on. She's always on. But me and Keisha were just talking about that today, because we were just like, it was just a joke on Instagram, and it was like, imagine if you married the person that you thought you were going to marry. And that's no offense, but just like, for me, it would be the same thing. It's like, I knew that I would have outgrown the situation and been like, well, I'm married now, so what am I?
Now I'm stuck.
Now what am I supposed to do? So
that's true. I'd have been married and miserable.
I've been divorced.
Well, no, because I've been talking to the person that I'm still friends with that person.
That's so crazy.
And so I'm like, we've been married and miserable. He's like, yeah, because I wouldn't have divorced you. He didn't believe in marriage, so he wouldn't.
Yeah, I would have been the same.
I'd have been just married and divorced. I mean, married and miserable. Married and miserable.
Would have been out here like Will and Jada and had a whole August Alsina situation.
Yes, God.
And then lied about it. Girl, that's another conversation. Sorry, I know it's controversial, but. People
So let's
having
talk
all these
about
situations in their marriage, and then don't want to tell the truth.
Just be honest. Be honest.
It's 2020.
And you know what? I'm not even against that, because I keep telling y'all I might have 3 husbands. I'm just saying.
I'm not
against one time.
I think it would shift the narrative if more people were open about the actual dynamics of their marriage. Mm-hmm. People would be more willing to get married, and people would be more open to having a marriage that would fit them. Like, I think there are way more people that have open marriages or have whatever type of situations going on. But, you know, it's taboo still in at least in the African American culture for sure. It's taboo, and it's like more people probably would get married if they knew, hey, my spouse, we may want to try some things 20 years down the line.
Well, the thing is that most people in the world, if we look at a global scale, are polygamous. Most people,
naturally though,
culturally are polygamous.
I mean,
now
naturally.
Unfortunately, it's men based, right?
Yeah.
But there are more polygamous marriages in the world than there are as far as like.
I was thinking you were saying monogamous. That's why I was like, you think people are naturally monogamous?
No. That's what I was like. Okay, we'll come back to this next week. We need to talk about that next week. We'll come back to it. But let's talk about magnetizing your life. So we're gonna kind of go in steps, and I guess this is where like that honey dip abundance coaching / Untamed lingerie. No, we talking. Okay. Girl, you listen.
I know.
Quit playing. Okay. Girl, you know you ready for this. Okay. So first step is getting grounded, right? Like taking care of your root chakra and finding ways to settle your energy. Kind of what does that mean to you?
Did y'all see? Okay, I'm getting.
Okay, no, go ahead. I'm for it.
Did y'all see the cute costume that Sierra and?
Oh my God, that was so beautiful. They did this whole Janet Jackson
and make him dress up as crazy characters. He's gonna be like, what?
It is my favorite holiday. I love
Yes, I'm so ready to have like couple costumes.
Okay.
How do I get grounded? That's a good question. I think it varies. Like certain things. Sometimes for me, getting grounded is being still. Like, I'm a busybody. So, literally, I feel grounded when I have crazy weeks. And then I'm like, okay, let me just have a day to myself where I'm binge watching Netflix. And I may journal and I may plan my week out. That makes me feel grounded because I'm in control. Like, I'm like, okay, let me just settle and not be having my hands in everything or not, like, having my energy all over the place. Sometimes grounded, maybe taking a bubble bath, because I'm also heavily water influenced, so I need that water and I need to just be in the bathtub. That's like my only really like one of my real times where it's like complete solitude where I'm like, okay, I can read, I can listen to music, I can meditate and not have any interruptions, or it's like I need to be on my phone and things like that. Those are my main two things. And probably getting in nature. Like, I don't go outside as much as I used to, but doing something outside, whether it's like going for a walk around the neighborhood, really just helps me feel very centered.
Oh yeah.
What's some grounding tools?
For me, just taking a moment, right? Taking a few deep breaths, relaxing, coming back to my center, meditating.
Yeah.
Definitely meditation. Just taking a moment and like emptying and clearing your mind and just letting things go. Also earthing, they call it earthing, when you just go and put your feet in the earth
or whatever.
Like literally like just connect and grounding down. Yeah, and then journaling. You're right, journaling. Like almost like emptying yourself out. Because to me, grounding is like pouring out what doesn't serve you, and then just kind of like figuring, like just being still, stillness.
Yeah,
stillness.
That's really what it is.
Still your mind.
Whatever that looks like for you, some type of like stillness.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah. So that's so important. Like just understanding your root, understanding where you come from, understanding your fundamental values in life. It's kind of like
clearing the distractions out.
Yes.
Like, I think that's like the grounding. When I think of grounding, it's like what you said with journaling, just getting all the clutter out, getting everything out of your mind, not being like, for me, I have to be in solitude because I'm a deep thinker. So it's I'm in my head, and like I can't be in my head and like talk to y'all. And so I know that will look different for everybody, but just having that moment of like, okay, let me just be present in the body.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And you know, it's interesting because I was having a conversation with my coach actually today, and I was saying like I took this last week to ground, right? I kind of cleared a lot of my schedule and took a moment to myself.
Good. It's so needed.
the problem is that like Spirit was telling me like, no, you need to ground more. Like you need more.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen,
I gotta go to work.
I gotta go to work, and I'm just gonna put that to the side. Like we'll pick this up another time.
You cannot do
but
that.
you cannot. Like y'all, we really have to listen to Spirit. And when God says like, listen, I need you to do this, it's important because if you don't ground voluntarily,
you will be grounded.
You will be grounded.
Well, that was my issue. Even as a child, like I would always just be doing stuff. And I remember my mom was always like, "You get your sleep. That's why you're getting sick." Because I have bad allergies. And it's like, but it would only be worse when I'm not getting rest. Like if I don't get rest, I am not good for anything.
You know what? You brought up such an important point. And
rest.
yes, and I was talking to my sister. We were saying how important it is to actually plan for sleep, right? Like literally set yourself and prepare for your sleep, because your sleep, your dreams, that's almost like your roadmap, right? When you're dreaming, you're getting the visualizations of the things you want to see realized. And so like planning your sleep. And I noticed that when I prepare for sleep, I sleep much better. I wake up ready to go. I'm more energized. Like everything, my mental clarity is there. It's like boom.
Versus like rushing into that space.
Exactly.
Well, that's why a lot of people have like night routines. Like they have. I'm doing better about that. I'm not always. But night routines and morning routines are kind of like just end your day on a good note and start your day on a good note.
Especially because when you look at like the human design formula, so many people are generators, are manifestors, and manifest generators and things like that. And so when you have that human design makeup, you literally have to empty yourself every night in order to recharge. And so you do that by preparing for sleep and calming yourself. And I'll listen to like ocean sounds in my sleep, and just like
that sounds so peaceful.
It is so peaceful.
That sounds
so like listen to ocean sounds. Just take a moment to not just crash, right?
Well, I've had to learn that. Like for me, I used to work to like burn out, like. And because I just felt like I had so much to do, and I don't think it wasn't me managing my time, but it was like not being content with not finishing everything in one day. And then I would be like, okay, I'm gonna just stay up to midnight and like do a whole bunch of stuff, or I'm gonna, do this, and it's like I realized, okay, you're not even operating at your best self because you're trying to you're trying to do all this last minute work versus setting 3 or 4 goals, knocking those out, and then being content with that, and then starting the next day with a fresh mindset.
And when you take that approach, I'm noticing like when I just say, okay, I'm gonna accomplish 2 or 3 things today, I do those 2 or 3 things way more efficiently
and quicker,
and like the accuracy is on point,
and then I end up having more time.
Yes,
I do 1 or 2 more things. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm like today I finished everything. I was thinking it was gonna be a crazy day just regardless, and I was like, okay, let me go to work. I did everything in like 3 hours before lunch, and I was like, okay, well I can go look at this coursework for something else. But it's, you don't realize. I think when we decide not to multitask and we just focus on one thing at a time, we get so done way faster. Which I know
because
like
women, we're the ultimate multitaskers, but it doesn't.
You're not really getting anything done,
right? It doesn't serve us well, right? It really doesn't serve us to the best of our ability. So step 1, when you get ready to start magnetizing your life, is to ground yourself, because what that does is it starts to give you clarity on what you want to actually attract, right? Because you can attract, whether you believe it or not, you're always attracting. You're always a magnet.
Today, I watched Abraham Hicks.
Girl, first of all, I love Abraham.
I almost watch her like every day.
I used to go to sleep with that plan.
When I had a longer commute, I was like, okay, what's a 20-30 minute video? Okay,
literally.
But she did a video today, or I guess a couple days ago, just regarding everything going on, and she was just saying that complaining is still a form of attraction.
Yes.
You're still attracting. So it's like we don't realize that, but I think most of us are starting to realize that. But our words are like very powerful.
You're
always attracting.
Yeah, like
always.
You're always bringing things towards you.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are a vibration. They're always. And the thing is that I heard someone say the other day, you're gonna have a negative thought, right?
Yeah.
So when you have your positive thought, immediately something negative is gonna trigger and say, like, that's just conditioning. But you have to turn it off immediately and overpower that negative thought with more positive thoughts, right?
You have to like stop the momentum of that and be like, okay, let me just turn this boat around before it gets too far gone. But that's a big thing. Like, I had to learn that because I'm definitely like the person where one thought will send me down like a spiral.
Yeah,
not
the
like
rabbit
crazy.
hole. It's just like
a rabbit hole. Nothing crazy, guys. But like, we could be talking about this, and that will like within 2 minutes would take me like 5 other thoughts. Mm-hmm. So that's something I've had to recognize in myself. Like, okay, you can let this thought become a thing, and then you'll be in a bad mood the rest of the day. You can be like, Sheridan, this is not. Don't make this a thing. Like, don't. This does not have to be a thing. You know, I try to rationalize things. So rationalize it or just deal with it later. Like, don't allow this thing to become your whole day.
I agree.
But it's like, it's awareness. Because there'll be days, when I was younger, like, the whole day would go by, and I'm like, man, I had a fucked up day. And then now, like, over time, I was able to, like, stop it in the process, and I'm like, okay, you doing this, or you're doing this, you about to go look at this, no one's, you're gonna be mad, like, don't do that. Like, why are you doing that?
Like, stop it. Literally, like, instantly stop it.
But I think it goes back to self-sabotaging, where we'll do things knowing that it's going to make us feel a type of way. Like, and not, you know, we're feeding into that. So
yeah. And as far as like with grounding as well, something that I've learned years ago is like being aware of what I take in, meaning music.
That's so important.
Like
today in 2020.
And the vibration of certain music. So I decided about 7 or 8 years ago to just stop listening to like breakup songs. So I don't ever listen to breakup songs. Yeah. Like, who wants to do that? But it's a whole genre.
My friend Liz, but she's interesting. She's a Gemini, so it's like she would be sad for a little bit, but then it's like not really sad.
But the thing
is, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to hear Mariah Carey, like not the sad Mariah Carey. But she can do it and still function in her day.
Well, the thing is, some people hear that and they just be like, you know what? It helps them to move on faster. But for me, it keeps me.
She just enjoyed that. She wasn't sad. Just like on a regular basis. I'll be like, Liz, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I do not want to hear Mariah Carey crying.
So, like, that's why I even listen to, like, I listen to more, like, Naija music. So I love, like, Nigerian music and island music.
You were going to say you stopped listening to rap and stuff, because that's something I'm
I can stop listening to it. Hell, I can barely understand what's being said.
My bad. I have my moments, okay. I went to Sam Houston, and you know we had a lot of party music.
I mean, I listen to like SUC. Remember, I went to high school in the '90s, so I'm like, girl, SUC, screwed up quick. Like I listen to Houston music.
Somebody gonna watch this and be like, what? And I love that music, but I definitely was like, what are you talking about? But somebody said that too, though. That's interesting you say that, because one, of course, like music being a vibration, people are just like, we really shouldn't be listening to a lot of rap, hip hop music anyway, because of how low vibrational it is. And then another girl that I follow, she does like tarot readings, and she was saying people need to listen to more love songs, because the vibration of love songs are just good feelings. You know, like you don't have to be in love to listen to them, but they just, the vibration that they are.
It gets that serotonin going, and that's why I say I love like Nigerian music or more international music, because they're geared towards like loving, and they understand like the divine feminine, and they just appreciate women. Like rap, it's almost like rap music. I kind of feel like you don't appreciate us.
You're right.
Like you love what we make you feel like, but you don't appreciate the essence.
Not women friendly at all.
Yeah, like it's not.
It's just not.
It's not. It's not. Yeah. It's not. Even rap music done by women.
Why did I thought that you were about to say
because it's true.
I mean, it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
And listen, some of y'all's favorite women
are not high vibration.
No, they're not.
And I love them, you know, when the moment is right.
I don't know if I do.
The lyrics of a lot of female rappers are not promoting what you would think not promoting what I feel like
It's
most women are on right
concubine
now.
energy. That's what it is.
I don't even know if it's that. I'm trying to be a man energy. It's a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it's not that goddess.
Yeah,
type
and I'm trying to work
flow
on not
that we
cussing as much. And it's like when you listen to like Cardi B or Megan, you just like, okay, well.
I mean, I don't have a problem with people cussing, whatever.
Yeah, I'm just trying to work.
Like, to me, it's like, you know,
I'm just trying to do that.
the properly placed cuss word could be very
Yes,
effective
but
in
it's like
moments.
every like 30 seconds, you're like, okay, well, this is not helpful.
So, we talked about grounding, and now let's go higher in our chakra system.
Okay.
And let's talk about kind of like your sacral chakra, right?
Yeah.
Which actually is my expertise.
Okay,
And so,
listen.
you know, the Yoni area, your sacral chakra is really your sexual chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And sexual meaning like creative life force. So it doesn't necessarily mean physical sex. That's an expression of your sacral chakra.
Yeah.
It's not it's not like the end all be all.
Yeah.
It's just an expression of that creative energy. So a lot of people get that totally misconstrued, and you see so many people, especially with like the new popularity of like Orisha and people understanding Orisha now.
Yeah.
And when you study Oshun, she is not about sex.
I was gonna
She's
say,
a sensual being.
not
So
felt
many
that
people take her archetype and think that it is all about sex, and Mama is not about sex. Okay?
I think that's a big thing that's happening right now in general, though, with the whole like goddess sexual movement. Is finding that balance of like it doesn't necessarily have to mean like just sexual liberation with your body. Like,
Right.
It just literally means
freedom, creative
to
freedom.
express yourself
Yeah.
sexually, even if you're not having sex.
So with your sacral chakra, this is where you take the time. So now you've gotten grounded, right?
Right.
And now
We're
it's
grounded. The
where,
root
yeah. So
chakra,
we've
we-
grounded our root, and
Okay.
we're ready to go. And now what we're doing is we're taking the time to actually find out what we're passionate about, what desires we have. Like
Yeah.
this is your feeling chakra. This is where you feel what feels good to you, and this is where you recognize your momentum. Abraham,
Yes.
This is where momentum lives, right? This is where you understand, like, oh wait, this feels good to me, and I like this, and I want to experience more of this, right? And or I don't like this at all, and I don't ever want to experience this again.
Yeah.
And anything that causes me to have this feeling, I'm allowing it to go
I think
and
it's
go away
sacred
from
too,
me.
like with intuition.
Yeah.
Like that reminds me a lot of the gut and just like listening to what your sacral chakra is saying, or that energy center in general. Just like, okay, what feels, like you said, what feels good? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? What do I like? What do I not like?
Mhm.
Like moving from a place of, or moving into a place of like empowerment.
Oh yeah, for sure. And a lot of women have stagnation in their sacral chakra. So as women, we don't realize that. First of all, men carry most tension in their shoulders and in their necks. As women, we carry our tension in our hips and in our vaginas.
Yes.
Like that's just fact, right?
Everybody just relax.
Yeah, literally.
You can be in sessions though,
And just kinda, like,
relax
rock
your
your
jaw.
hips.
You're like, you don't realize how tense your body is
Mhm.
naturally, but
Just kind of
Yeah,
rock
we
your
don't rock our
hips
that's
and just
interesting,
allow
too, though.
yourself to.
With the hips, with I know they say we store a lot of emotions in our hips.
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Like a lot.
Everything
Yeah.
that we've ever felt is stored in our hips and our vaginas.
So we need to start doing straight. She said, "Let me just."
But it's also, and that's to speak about like our community, because in our community, and any, minority community, or what's said to be a minority community, because that's a whole other thing. But stagnation is a major problem, right? Because we're not allowed to feel anything. And the reason we're not allowed to feel anything is because we're constantly kept stimulated, right? And we're not allowed to take a moment for ourselves and process what feels good to us.
Yeah.
We're overworked. We are tired. We are suppressed. We are depressed. All those things keep us from allowing ourselves again, you heard me, a person who actually works in sacral chakra energy, say, like, the minute Spirit was like, no, take another moment, I was like, yeah, no, I don't have time for that.
And it's like, you gotta make time. But it's like, what are some ways that you feel like you keep your energy moving, especially in your sacral chakra region?
Well, that's what started me with Yoni steaming.
Okay.
Because it literally, the steam itself goes in and it starts to break things up and get things going and flowing, as well as certain herbs or circulation herbs, and they promote circulation. So honestly, Yoni steaming, sometimes like a nice yin yoga practice. So in yin yoga, it's not like that whole Western leave it all on the mat philosophy. It's like those poses that are held for 5 to 10 minutes, and you're exploring every pose. You're not rushing.
Yoga pose that long,
girl. Yin yoga is a thing.
I have never done yoga though. Well, I have never held one particular pose that long.
And they're not easy poses, but they are going to be those more hip opening poses, pelvic floor stretches, and you're literally like in that pose for about 5 to 10 minutes. Like, and you're breathing and you're getting I'm like, woo. You're breathing and you're getting deeper in the pose. And so yin yoga is another way of like taking a moment, because now you're not, and the beauty of it is you're not rushing to get to the next pose. See, it's all about stopping, pausing, and taking a moment.
I think dancing is really good. Like, I know for me,
a good wine.
Yes. A good wine. Like, I was going to a dance gym for a while, and I was like, it's just, you feel different when you just getting your body moving. Like, it's just a different, like, I guess especially once you become aware of energy, like, you can feel when you're getting energy. Even with me, like, working out, like, even if you just do regular workouts, you're getting energy moving. I think that's the biggest thing, especially in 2020.
Hula hooping. Remember back in the day, you would hula hoop and move your hips?
She's like, back in the day, I'm like, first of all, I'm not good at hula hooping. Getting better. But I think that's just important, of like getting the energy flowing. Like, I think that's just another thing.
And really and truly, this is where we take a moment and we be gentle with ourselves. This is where we also start to show up for ourselves, right? And your sacral chakra is where you actually are tuning in and finding out, what do I want? And be honest about what you want, right? And what you want to feel, because you have to. Like, this is where we're moving up in that chakra system, and this is almost like your base. Right? So those are steps. So we've gotten grounded, which gives us clarity.
Root chakra.
Right? We have our root chakra. Yes.
And then sacral is orange.
And then sacral is orange.
Solar plexus is the more, okay.
Yes. So sacral is orange.
Solar, like,
we getting there though. Okay. So your sacral chakra is where you're feeling your desires, right? And you feel what feels good to you. And again, we're not just talking about sex, we're talking about life, right? Even in your business practice, like, take a moment. Literally, this is your sensory system, right? And it's like, what feels good to you? Like, does it feel good if you are a business owner? Because I realized something today. Very important. I thought I wanted to work and then have a life, right? And I wanted my work really, because I'm very passionate about my work, so I thought I wanted my work to dictate my life, right? So work dictates how I handle family. And now I realize, and I just really came to this conclusion this week, I want my life to dictate work. So I will live.
You thought you were the opposite.
I genuinely believe that I was, because I'm so passionate about helping women to facilitate their healing and moving forward. But the truth of the matter is that as passionate as I am about it, I want my life to be primary, and then my work to just be a part of my life.
I think something else too that you were saying something good, and about just being stagnant. And learning what you like. The only way, it kind of goes back to what we were talking about probably a couple of weeks ago, was like trying new things, like really getting out there and just experimenting with things, even if it's like trying a new restaurant, like eating something different than you usually eat, like wearing something different, like just getting that energy flowing of like newness, and all of that, and vibrancy.
In fabrics, like a lot of times fabrics play a huge role. Like, do you really like the fabric that you're wearing? Does it feel good to your skin?
Your body will tell you.
Your body will tell you.
Fabric for my body is like, it's just, there's like a fabric that's like, it's almost like a fake silk. And my body is just like, no, this is not a good shirt to wear. Like, it's just, and I buy them every once in a while, but it's like, it's just not, we're supposed to be wearing cotton anyway, for the most part.
My body loves Ankara. Like a good,
What is that?
like the printed African fabric.
Okay.
Like a
Like a
good
quality.
Ankara. Yeah. Like first of all, shout out to Ty Couture, who is my African stylist, and I love Ty Couture. You can follow her at Ty Couture. Just saying.
Yeah.
But her fabrics are, and this is the thing, y'all. We have to support our communities, and you don't always have to wear European designer clothes. Like, there are plenty of African designers,
Right.
Plenty of wonderful quality African fabrics. It feels good. It's well made. It fits our body well. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So just experiment, and don't get it twisted. I do love me sometimes a good European person. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying, try different things, right? Okay, so let's talk about, now we're going up. Now we're going to talk about our solar plexus, right? And this is our self-confidence center. So you can have that confidence once you have truly taken the time to ground, right? So you have your clarity. You tapped into your sacral chakra. You know what feels good to you and what doesn't. And now you're starting to make up your mind, right? So this is where you truly are understanding that you are a magnet and you are worthy of the good things that you're attracting.
And knowing that you're worthy.
Yes.
And feeling worthy.
Yes.
That's important. If you don't feel worthy of what you want, you're not going to attract it. You cannot trick the universe.
You can't. Oh! Girl.
You can't, though. I think that we all want things. We want a certain partner. We want a certain lifestyle. We want a certain whatever, abundance. But it's like, until we get clear about what we want and do the work and clear out blockages and self-defeating thought processes, like, we are going to be in the same cycle.
You cannot, and I don't care what anybody says, you cannot fake it till you make it with the universe. Does not work. Because you're going to get exactly what your vibration is. Period. And that's it. Like, you cannot fake it till you make it. You can fake it with the rest of us.
Right. You can put yourself in environments to, like, boost your vibration, but you still will have, your vibration will still have to get there.
And that's where the work comes in.
Like, to be aligned. So, like, because I do believe on the one hand, like, if you want to attract certain things, you can start putting yourself in that environment to attract that, but you're still going to have to, like, level up your vibration.
You have to do your own work. And a lot of times, the reason that most people don't have the confidence that they need is because they haven't gone all the way to the basics, and that is still yourself. You cannot pass that step of getting still.
Go. You cannot pass go.
You cannot pass go.
You have to do the work. And I will say, like, we say the work can be quick. Like, it really depends on the person. Like, there are people, that's why it's so funny, because people are like, well, you can't get rich overnight. Some people have, because they did the work really quickly. I mean, that's not everybody's story, but just like we were talking a couple weeks ago about the girl who, like, met her husband in, like, 4 months.
Well, the thing is that it's still not overnight, and that's another thing. Like, it's overnight to us from what we see, right? But the work had been done all the time. She'd been doing the work consistently. So in order to get to that vibration, you put in the work consistently over and over and over and over and over again, because the work isn't linear, right? Like, you always, I just said, like, I'm scared out of my mind. Look, I'm scared, to be honest. I'm scared out of my mind to adjust to where I need to go, because then that's what that does. That puts me back in the cycle of, like, but it's not starting over. You're starting over, but on a new level. And it's kind of like, now the teacher goes back to being the student, and none of us happily goes back to being the student.
It's like,
although I love being a student, but
it's like, how else are you gonna get to that next level?
Exactly. And so many people get get stuck because they're afraid to truly go back to being a student. It's like, well, if I can be a master on level A, why would I go be a student in level B?
I think
why
people
would
are
I do
scared
that?
of that, but I think people are also scared of what sacrifices you will have to make. Like, if I want to live overseas and be married to this amazing man, this, and this, that's going to require some sacrifice, whether that's like saving money, whether that's requiring like not being in the same circles with certain people, like that. Everything requires a level of sacrifice that I think that people aren't necessarily willing to make. Like, people want to stay. This girl said this in this Facebook group today, but it's like a dating level up group. And so she was saying, you know, women in particular, women will say we want this, and this out of a partner, and we're not doing anything to change to get that. Like, anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to be who I am and then attract this, knowing that it's requiring.
Can you sustain it?
Knowing it's requiring a certain level. If I know that I want to go to Harvard and they require X, Y, and Z, why would I think if I'm a C student that I deserve to go to Harvard or I'm a manifested because that's what I want, and I'm not doing the work to do that? That's what I've noticed is a lot of our issue or blockage is that nobody wants to do the work. Nobody wants to do the sacrifice of what comes with that. Like, you can't go from here to here without losing some people, without changing your lifestyle, without changing your thinking. Like that it has to be a theme. Like, you can't have both.
Well, I think that a lot of times that comes with people wanting to display everything, right? And like, so first of all, healing is not cute, right? And I always like to
stops.
Right. I like
stop.
to use like this example. Everyone is constantly wanting to display everything. So when people go to concerts now, you see cell phones out, right? Like, because I have to display that I'm at this concert instead of being at the concert, enjoying the moment and the vibration that I'm receiving from my favorite artist, and then hundreds of thousands of fans of my favorite artists. Now I have to show everybody that follows me
concert
that I'm at this concert, and so I'm not really there. I'm on my phone to show you that I'm at the concert. That's number one. So people are always trying to display, and the thing is that when you're healing and you're healing for real and you're doing that work, that shit is not cute. There is nothing
and it's not predictable
about. It's kind of like, have you ever seen, like, remember they used to have Extreme Makeover? They would have the home edition and then the regular edition, right?
Yes.
So you would have them show the house, or let's say the girl before her Extreme Makeover, or before the home. So they'll talk a little bit with the family. They'll talk about like, oh, we're going to take this out because that's not cute. We're going to take this out, but the cameras were there, right? Or she's telling you like, oh, I want my nose done because I would just feel so much better about myself, whatever. But when she goes into surgery, those cameras turn off. You don't get to see what that's like, right? Because it's not cute. And if you have cameras, then you're more inclined to feel like it has to look a certain way. Healing don't look like shit. It's just it doesn't.
And healing is like, to me, healing is ongoing too. And I say that because I feel like now we're in this era where people are so, it's almost like people, it's a thin line between people discussing like healing and mental health as like a genuine thing versus like a badge of honor almost. It's like, it's just another thing for people to bond over versus actually just like doing the work and like being in healing. Like, people want to talk about it like, oh, I'm blah blah blah, and it's like, are you doing it, or are you like, it's just a cool thing to talk about? So I think that's also something of like, healing can be, to me, healing can be ugly and different things, but it's also like, it's not an end, like it's not a period. It's like, okay, you're moving through different phases of like unpacking who you are, unpacking your life experiences, and realizing how they've shaped you to be who you are, for better or for worse, and then figuring out what you need to keep and what needs to go, and then being like, cool, done with that, let me keep on trucking down the street. Like, don't get too stuck in healing. Like, don't make healing,
it's not your destination.
Your destination or your personality trait. Like, I saw somebody tweeted that the other day, like, don't make healing or trauma your personality. Like, it's a thing, it's happened, work through it, but don't let that define who you are to where you can't separate your identity from it, if that makes sense.
I have said to a few clients, like, stop bonding over trauma.
Oh, trauma bonds are everywhere.
Like, stop bonding over trauma.
But you don't know that you're doing
No,
that.
you don't.
I think you just don't know. And that can be, that's not even just relationships. There are friendships that form out of trauma bonds. And
it doesn't mean that those relationships and friendships can't elevate, but don't stay stuck bouncing back and forth on your trauma. Like, you want to do better. You deserve better. If no one else has told you, y'all, we deserve better collectively, right? So we're not looking to continue to survive and be martyrs, right? There's nothing like noble about being a martyr. Like, throw that out the window.
That's
we're not doing that.
Conversation for the other day, because that goes so deep into just women feeling like we have to be a martyr for everything going on, and it's like everybody else is grown; they can deal with their shit just like we're having to deal with it. Like, we always like we have to be Captain Saver, everybody else, and it's like, no, everybody needs to do their own work. You are not a healing house, you're not a halfway house, you're not a therapist for your friends or your lover. Like, just like you've had to do the work and pay for therapy and pay for counseling and pay for Yoni scenes, people need to do their own work.
People need to do their own work.
We're all trying to do the work.
You know, I always say to people, because people are like, well, I keep telling my friend they need to do this, or they need to come see you, or they need to. No, like, thank you, refer. I appreciate it. And the thing is like, no, refer, because I refer people to people all the time, right? But however, you can't get attached to their outcome, because people will show up when they're meant to show up. They will arrive.
Thing for me to learn.
Yeah.
Like, not getting so attached to fixing my friends' problems, and vice versa. I'm sure there's times they've been like,
truly, because I feel correct. Yeah,
they've probably been like, this girl is not listening about whatever it is, probably a relationship, but just giving people the space of figuring out their own stuff. And me and one of my best friends just had this conversation, just dealing with friendships and having to learning to give people advice and letting them figure it out, and like asking them what do they actually need from you in this moment.
Oh,
like,
God,
are you just calling me to vent, or do you want me to tell you were wrong, or they were wrong, or whatever? So it's a lot of different layers to.
I remember my sister told me one time I was going through my Saturn's return, and that was that soulmate breakup, right? When that person who's your mirror and not the best way shows up in your life. And we went through a breakup, and I remember my sister telling me, and I needed her to tell me this, but she was like, you're miserable. You are miserable. And he may be unhappy, but you're miserable. And you have to figure out how to get your happiness back, because this ain't you. I don't even know this girl. But I was stuck in like, oh, woe is me, right? And oh, my life will never be the same. And it was like, girl,
it's so many men in the world.
Listen, well, it wasn't about him. It was this idea that I had in my head, right? I had married this idea of what this relationship was supposed to be. And it was like, girl, you was lit before he came along, and you gonna be lit after him. Like, listen.
But you don't realize it when you're in that type of relationship. You don't realize it. And for me, like, I realized it when we had our moments of not being together, and it's like, your energy's kind of different. Like, my family was like, you just seem lighter. Like, but you don't realize, you don't know what you're in until you're out of it. That's just you have some type of wake up call in it, and you're just like, it's not okay. But usually people don't realize what they're in, or what they're dealing with, or what they're attracting or magnetizing, going back to magnetizing, until you're out of it and you're like, okay, what do I do? That just made me think about something else, though, that's kind of controversial in the sense of, like, I think that sometimes we don't always want to take accountability for magnetizing bad situations too. And I think that's a touchy subject. Of course, some situations like
that's the Abraham and you feeling like that, because I've
had conversations like that with people, and I'm like, I'm not saying that somebody deserves something that's just so extremely horrible, but I am saying in certain situations, we've all been in toxic situations, we've all dealt with bad jobs, we've dealt with car accidents or whatever, and it's like, whether we want to admit it or not, like, something about our energy and what we're putting out attracted that. Like, that's just the thing. And I think that's something, I think accountability goes into magnetism because you have to be accountable for what you're attracting. The good and bad. I think everybody, when people attract good things, they're like, oh girl, you know, I've been doing the work.
Yes.
And I've attracted it and I'm just blessed and this is this. When it's bad thing, it's like, that person did this, or my luck is bad, or it's like, no, it's the same. The common denominator
is you. Yes. And the thing is, it's like, even I've had to kind of consider, like, what is bad? Bad is relative, right?
That's how I feel about karma.
Yeah, because it's
I
kind
feel
of
that way about karma.
It's kind of like, well, if it served its purpose of sparking the lesson that I needed, was it bad, or was it just an experience
to like see the bigger picture?
Yeah.
But I feel that way about karma because people are like, oh, they're gonna get what they deserve, and I'm like, I mean, are they? I mean, what do they? And of course, there's situations where it just yes, obviously, but there's sometimes where people are like, they deserve, and I'm like, oh, if we all, because I think of it from a spiritual sense too. Like, if you do something to me, and I'm like, oh, God's gonna get Anisha. And it's like, is he? Or is he like, that served his purpose and both of y'all had an experience, you know? So it's just, everything's debatable.
And that's
everything's
kind of
relative.
like, that's where grace enters the picture, right? Because we have to have grace for ourselves and grace for others, right? Like, it's so important that we have grace and we understand that everyone has a growing pain. Right? And so people can only love you up to the level in which they love themselves. People can only be your friend up into the level in which they know how to be your friend. When you know better, you do better. When we understand these things, then we'll have a lot more grace. Now, just because I have grace for you
the words out of my mouth
does not mean
I was just
gotta
about to say,
be in my circle. Like, let's be clear
there
about
people
that.
I have grace for. I'm like, I have grace for you, and I understand that you.
But I'm gonna have grace for you, which you standing way over there, like right, like way back there.
I think that this is a real conversation because it's like you can have grace and still not deal with people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just the thing. Like, you can have. I've had those realizations where people have been like, I get why this person is not in a certain place or why we can't get on the same page, and it's like, I know they might get there someday, and I have grace for understanding growth. But I ain't gotta have grace while you in my life. Like,
girl,
I'll be watching from afar, wishing you well. Hopefully you get to where you're supposed to go, but
that's what we talk about, like, and I'm so glad that we're on this because that's where discernment lives. And discernment lives in your solar plexus, which is your confidence center. Your solar plexus is constantly telling that gut feeling, that
following it.
Yes.
The first time. We're just on a whole. That's been something that's big for me too lately is like, I'm very intuitive, but like trusting it.
Trusting
the first time.
Yeah.
And usually I'm getting better at it, but usually I look back and I'm like, last week I had an inkling that I should have did this, and now I'm not regretting it because I'm getting grace of like, guys, I'm giving you a little more time to figure it out, but trusting the discernment even when it doesn't make sense. Like, our spiritual discernment is not always going to logically make sense.
It hardly ever logically makes sense.
If that was the case, I think we would just, life would be a breeze.
Yeah.
So it's just trusting the discernment to where even if it doesn't logically make sense, being like, you know what, I can't wrap my head around it, but I know I'm supposed to go to this store today, or I'm supposed to not go to this store today, or I'm supposed to take off work today, or like what you were saying, with you having to take a break. Like, I know, let me take some time and be late to work. There's always a reasoning behind those little thoughts in your head that are like, do this, don't do that, call this person, text this person. Like, there's always a reason.
I really struggled with that in like my mid to late 20s, right? And so around that time I started praying, like, God help me to understand like discernment, because that's when like the word just kept flashing before me, like discernment. And I was like, God, first of all, you got to help me understand like what is discernment exactly, and like how do I know? First, like, I remember going like, how do I know it's not just me versus that's something that
Right.
you're telling me to do. And God was like, first of all, who said there was something wrong with it being you, right? Like, again, worthiness,
discernment,
right?
Somewhere,
right? So it's like your voice alone is worthy because I'm in you. So your voice that you're hearing is me. That's number one. That's a girl. Listen. So understanding your worthiness, that's one. And then I remember just a few tips that God gave me and spoke to my spirit, and it was like, listen. First of all, my truth stands over and over and over again. So sometimes I tell you to move and you need to move.
Now.
And then, right now. And you feel it. Like when God has that energy, it's like almost a scream. It's like you feel it. That's the momentum.
Together with momentum and magnetism, because sometimes we can't get as fast in that flow of that because we're not moving.
Yes.
Like, part of magnetism is like trusting discernment to be like, okay, let me call this person, or like, let me bring up this topic to somebody. I've just been times where I've done that. It's like that's opened a door for like
a whole nother thing.
You know?
And a lot of times that's that person's confirmation, right? So it's like move, right? Move.
Right.
And then sometimes God is like, okay, well, if you don't know that it's me, take a moment. I'll show you again.
A little louder.
God, yeah,
a little louder.
And not in like a chastising way, but like in a loving way. Like, see, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you that this can, God's word, the word of spirit will always stay the same. It's consistent. It does not change.
Oprah calls it little winks. I used to listen to her
Super Soul
Sunday. And so she was like, spirit will give you first, it's a little tap on your shoulder. It's a little just tap. And then it gets louder and louder. And that's been my realization recently with things where it's like, I'll get a little inkling about something and I'm like, let me get a moment. And then it'll be like, or let me debate which way I should go. No one's like, one way is like, you don't need to be doing that. But I'm like, just a little bit. And I'm debating. I haven't made the decision. And then I'm like, okay, cool. A couple of days pass. Something else happens. And I'm like, okay. God was like, I don't even have time for you to go down this pathway. So let me just I've had that happen with people, like especially in relationships. I've had that happen where maybe if I've been interested in a guy, or it's usually I'm interested in a guy, and I'm like, okay, let me explore, let me see if this is the way I should go, and then something will happen. I've had that happen recently twice. Something will happen where it's like a clear as day sign, like that is not the direction I need you going in. Like, and I didn't even want you to try to experiment down that path, so let me just blaringly be like, no, I need you to
this
go that
isn't
way.
working. Because you don't have time to play with this. Like, you don't have
he was
time.
like, let me snatch you up real quick, because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
And so I remember the one more thing that God told me when I was asking about discernment, especially when it comes to relationships and dating. It's kind of like there's this and I take from every religious source. I mean,
when we're saying God, we definitely are like,
so
a little more higher level than y'all probably think that we're talking about.
So we're like, I'm taking from every source. But to say that, I remember there's in Matthew in the Bible, Matthew chapter 7 is really quite interesting. But I remember God specifically saying, go open your Bible, turn to Matthew 7, and you will read how to understand character, because God kept speaking to me about like having people of character in your life, right?
Because
and
so I was talking about
character is a whole thing, y'all. And so because you want to magnetize your life full of character, like that's the thing that will literally carry you through life. And so I remember God, and I turned and I read, and so I read this parable, and essentially it was saying like you can tell the tree by its fruit. So God was like, listen, the person that I have for you is going to bear good fruit, because only a good tree can bear good fruit, and a bad tree can only bear bad fruit. So God was like, listen, look at this person's life, look at all the people that this person has in his life, right? What is he like if he's a parent? What is he like as a parent? Right? What does he treat his mother like? What does he treat his father like?
Learning people. It's taking time to like really learn people before you just like
go
all in.
Right? And also listen to what a guy says about his exes. Like if a guy's talking about his ex or the mother of his children,
child, his baby mama.
like crap, like listen, there is nothing that makes you any better. It's like
you are not the exception.
Like you're not, and you don't want to be. Right? If he's simply saying, listen, that relationship just didn't work, we had some growing pains, that's fine. But if he's like, listen, she was trash, well, what about you? A trash?
Okay, sir, it was so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I had a great time. This is not gonna happen.
So like y'all, like literally your solar plexus, your gut feeling, that knowing that
embody what you want to attract.
Right.
So like putting yourself in space, like using that discernment to put yourself in spaces around things that you want to attract. Like if you know you want to attract a certain lifestyle, like start driving to those neighborhoods, start shopping in those areas, it's going to different places outside of your norm. Like start reading certain things. Like there are things you can do to upgrade your vibration to attract those things and to really I think we spend a lot of time decluttering, like getting rid of people, but you have to replace. Like
you do have
to replace.
That's
part of magnetism.
Yes.
Like, okay, I know I don't want to deal with A, B, C, D, E, but like what am I doing to replace what I'm letting go of? Like what am I doing? Sometimes it's just a matter of letting go. This lady told me, I got a reading randomly,
okay.
But it was crazy. That goes back to discernment. So I left a wedding on Sunday, and there's a place in Houston called Our Little One Red Shop.
Oh yeah, I know them. Yeah,
And so I go get my candles. Yeah, all my little whatever spiritual stuff. I was about to say something totally different.
It's fine.
Yeah. So I was over here, and so I was like, "Well, you're already going to emancipation. Like, just go." And I ended up having a great read, but it was literally discernment. I was like, even me being in the shop, and she was talking about, I hope we get some good readings today or something like that. And God was like, just ask her just ask if she has time. And I was like, I don't have time for that. I'm trying to go to the grocery store. I'm trying to listen to this. But I said all that to say that using the discernment to put yourself in places where you need to be, like in replenishing your spirit, like replenishing your mind, replenishing your spirit, saying, okay, like I'm letting go of these people, but like let me start
attracting my tribe.
And that's like not even just relationships, friendships, like attracting friendships where you all are on the same common goals. Even with business, like we talked about magnetizing in business, and my coach was like, visualize yourself attracting the type of clients that you want to attract.
That is a big thing, and that
all money ain't good money.
Listen, I'm so grateful for like all of my honeydews because they are dedicated to their womb wellness. They're dedicated to elevating themselves.
That's important in business.
It's so important.
Attracting the actual clients that you want to attract. Because all money is not good money.
All money is not
and all
good
clients
money.
aren't good clients.
No.
Not even just the money. It's just, if you know, I think for me, even with shifting my business on both businesses, it's like, who do I want to work with? Like, who do I want to represent?
What kind of energy?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what kind of energy do you want to even say, like, I'm a client? Like, I'm very particular about, even like with, say for instance, so we certify Yoni practitioners, but like I've told people like, I'm sorry, I won't certify you, because why would I have honey dip across your certification if I don't believe in what you're doing?
Oh,
so and seriously, so it's like, listen, if you're not doing this out of true and authentic
authenticity.
Yeah, like I can't, y'all. I can't. But what time is it? What our time?
10
How much?
10.
Okay.
Okay. I'm I keep seeing
let's
stuff
look
happen.
through. I can't see, so I'm gonna need you to look through.
I'm gonna go on both. I'm like, do you get like a gut feeling when it comes to your intuition? Expressions as that. Okay.
That's a good question.
That is a good one. Somebody say yes. I don't like sad songs. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of comments. Get back to a moment for self. Okay.
So do you get what was that?
Sorry, I'm on the camera.
Okay.
My eyes look brown, girl. Okay, love them from a distance. Yes. healing is not a trend. Yes, you're starting over, but with the experience you've had, good or bad.
Exactly.
You cannot trick the universe. All of the things. Y'all are just, I love the vibes. Okay, so the question we got from Expressions, hopefully she's still on, was, I forgot that fast. You get a gut feeling in your intuition.
Oh, absolutely.
Mine's always a voice. Sometimes it's subtle and sometimes it's louder. But usually it's just like it'll come at random times. It could be I'm doing something and then I'm like, you should call this person. Or you should go to the store. Or you should turn to this channel. Or I'll joke because whenever I hop on Twitter or Instagram, 70% of the time I come across some type of business opportunity. But if I had not logged on at that point and saw them saying like, hey, I'm looking for marketing or I'm looking for this, like I wouldn't have seen it.
Right.
So it's just like trusting, like you'll trust the voice that you hear. So I guess, yes, it can be a gut feeling. Sometimes like you can feel it literally in your gut. But sometimes it's also, at least for me, it's like a little voice in my head like, you need this, or you should eat this today, or you should, it's like those little things.
I would go even a little bit deeper to say it depends on what your clairvoyant gift is, right? So we all have some type of, and this is not to spook anybody out, but we all have some kind of clairvoyant gift. God has given us like some kind of, I guess you could say, antenna, right? To understand our intuition. And so, it depends. If you're somebody who is clairaudience, that you may hear the voice, right? If you have clairsentience, it's that feeling. You know how you just had that feeling, like you just know it's this feeling that come over you and it just don't feel right and it just don't sit right with you. Then you're a feeler. If you have clairvision, then it may come to you in a dream. Like you may see a dream and then you wake up and you go, wait, that's not the right thing to do. I remember a lot of times if I lost something, I would go to sleep and like see it exactly where it is in my dream and wake up and go there, right? Because I can see things, so that's a seer. It's all of your senses. Like sometimes you just know, and that's why it behooves you to find out which yours is. Now we all have all of them.
Oh, so I thought we have two.
We all have all of them, but sometimes one or two are a little more heightened than the other.
That makes sense.
And so, just knowing and understanding where yours lie will give you a lot of the answers. But if you're a feeler,
I think that's the biggest way to grow your intuition is just start following it. I mean, just seeing what happens. Like, that's the only way you're gonna know is if you get the inkling and you're like, let me go to this store, let me call this person, and that's when you'll. It might not be something that happens that day, but then a couple of days later, you'll be like, I'm so glad I, called this person, or I didn't go to that club that night, or, those little different things. I think when you start following those inklings, then you'll start to realize, like, okay, this is my discernment.
This is how my discernment works, right? And so, again, it really is about, and that's what the solar plexus is for. It is truly to let you know, like you feel it in so if you're grounded, rooted in clarity, right? Like you're walking in clarity. This is a lifestyle. You're walking in clarity. And then you know what feels good to you. You're using your sacral chakra to understand, does this feel good to me? And I'm not just talking about physical pleasure. Does this feel good to my entire being? Right. Then that gives you the confidence to trust your solar plexus, right? Because your solar plexus is yellow.
And usually it's our first mind, like something I've realized, and I'm not saying follow your first mind all the time, but I've noticed that, maybe it's a fire sign thing, no offense to other signs, but I've noticed I have noticed a lot of fire signs, we're very we know. It's
decisive.
We're very decisive. And the people think it's because we're impulsive, but it's really because, I'm not saying it's only fire signs, but I've noticed it in my friends that it's very quickly. So it's after that, then that's the human nature side of you is like, well, let me sleep on it. You already know what to do. Like human nature tells you, oh, you need to sleep on it. When truthfully, you want to say yes, or you want to say no, or you want to do something, but your parents or human nature or logic says, let's just sleep on it. Let's mull over it for a couple days.
You already know what to do. You said something so profound the other day. I was watching one of your videos. and you said before of course, girl, when you said before you tell anybody your idea and thoughts, give it 24 hours. A lot of times we have the answer already. You
already know.
You know, and then you tell someone else, and you're just waiting them to convince you out of what you already know to be the truth for yourself. You have to trust yourself. That's why you take a moment, ground in your thought. Like,
and it's hard because I think that somebody said, what are we talking about? We're talking about like discernment, magnetizing your life. Yes, she was doing. But that's been, I was gonna say something. I guess that's been hard. I guess it's hard because you want to get opinions from your friends and your family. It's like, you know what's best for you. Like, somebody, you could be married to somebody and you still, at the end of the day, like, nobody knows your inner thoughts and desires better than you. Like, your partner may, y'all been married a long time, whatever. But I say all that to say, I think sometimes we share ideas just to get confirmation. And it's like, you don't really need it. Like, you don't really need confirmation.
It's nice to have accountability partners and things like that, but you kind of know.
Even when I have accountability partners, like 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to them to make sure I'm not crazy. I always tell my friends that I'm like, I'm trying to make sure I'm not tripping before I
exactly.
Say this or do like 9 times. It's never like I really don't know what to do. It's just like, tell me I'm not tripping or tell me I'm tripping. But, you know, validate yourself.
You have to validate yourself. You have to validate yourself. And the thing is that you also have to know which friends to go to for validation. Because sometimes we be playing with ourselves, right? And you're going to have that one friend that's crazy, and you know that your idea is really crazy, and you shouldn't be doing it. And then that friend be like, girl, what, jump? Yeah, let's go. Let's ride. Let's do this. Like, no, you went to the wrong friends. Like, stop playing.
People who you know are going to, like, pick apart your idea.
Yes, because you don't want to actually level up.
I didn't need all that.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with you. And one thing I have in here about worthiness is that we have to understand, even though I do believe in, like, you deserve the best, right? But
I'm listening.
You deserve the best for yourself. But I see a lot of times when we say we deserve the best, a lot of people will take that and think that it means materialism, right?
Yes.
And go broke saying I deserve the best. That's not how you attract vibration. Yes. It's not like, think about vibrational currency. Go beyond the material currency and go for spiritual and vibrational currency, right? Like, you deserve the best in everything, not just in the material.
Because sometimes it's not. I think like our culture is caught up in certain material things, and it's like, do you really want the Birkin bag, or you just think it's a staple, or do you really want this? I mean, sometimes people do,
right?
Like, sometimes people really do. It's like, cool, if that's what you want, cool, but don't think that you have to, like, want something because society says that you want it.
Well, what it does is it replaces the worth that sometimes we don't have, right? Like, certain labels make you feel worthy when you should feel that already. Right. So, I think that's...
Have you experienced this? I dream things and it comes to pass.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes I don't realize it until months later, and I'm like, I did have a dream about that. And my dreams usually won't be on point 100%. It'll just be kind of a hint. Like, it'll be regarding a person or like a general situation, and then something else will happen, but it's like that was the basis of it. It might not be like verbatim, but it'll be like, okay, this person's gonna be here and it may be this, and then I'll run into that person and it'll be a similar situation like a month later or something like that.
I would say if you're dreaming and it's like on point, then most of the time you're a seer, which means that's how God is communicating to you. And so you have to understand that, and you are someone who really, really needs to prepare for sleep, because that's how you're getting your blueprint. So you have to be very, very particular about making sure you're creating the atmosphere for sleep to receive what you need, and writing it down and reflecting on it. Like, be in your dreams, right? Because sometimes you can actually like go in and experience that dream and don't be afraid of it. So
like, I'm here, I'm present.
Present. Yeah, like just and sometimes like don't try to control it. just allow it to be, because
I used to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
I would get the dream and be like, I'm not driving in this ditch. What are y'all talking about? Like,
but sometimes you need to, dreams can help you get over your fear, right? If you just allow the dream to take you into where you're afraid of going, it will show you, like, see, there's nothing here to fear. Like, it's
always
good.
are like good at, my themes are always around emotions. I guess because I'm not like vocally, or wasn't, especially as a kid. So a lot of my dreams were like processing emotions with people, having conversations with people that I didn't have in person, like seeing those type of situations play out. Like, it's, you know, all dreams have things. I'll give you 2 minutes.
Okay. So, y'all, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We started off with magnetizing your life. We covered the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and our solar plexus. Next week, we'll go into the heart chakra, throat chakra, maybe some third eye and crown.
Yes.
But we'll go into more about it, and like just being the total feminine, divine,
being in the
magnet that you are, being in the flow.
You didn't take anything else from that. Get in the flow.
And know when your momentum strikes. When it strikes, catch that wave and go on and go. So
we'll save it so you can go back.
If you missed this, we'll save it. You can go back and watch it on IGTV. We will be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. I'm Anisha of Honey Dip Yoni Spa, where we do Yoni steaming and abundance coaching. And this is
I am Sheridan of Untamed Lingerie, where we get you some lingerie.
Yeah, girl.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Okay.